So all of those ideas of trying to get, drug dealers, drug users, okay, just clean up the streets of San Francisco by making rehabs more available. Listen, I could tell you that that was going to fail from the fucking before it was even implemented, okay? The only reason that people go to rehabs, and you know what, rehabs do work, but people have to hit rock bottom and they have to want to recover before they actually do. You can't mandate somebody goes to rehab. Okay, court appointed rehabs have a subterranean success rate, okay? And then even me, just as a personal trainer, certified personal trainer, okay? Somebody who gets told by their doctor that they need to go to a trainer and they need to start exercising, if they aren't buying in on it, okay? And if I can't sell them on the idea that, hey, if they don't get healthy, they don't incorporate exercise into their life, they're going to die. If I don't hit on a certain hotspot for them, whether it be their kids, whether it be their goals, maybe it just is looking good for the summer. If I don't make that personal connection with them, it's not gonna stick, okay? So just making this shit available just eventually fucking blows up. Doesn't matter what happens. You can't change a person's mind unless they want it to be changed. Sad facts of life, but you can't tell that to San Francisco. You can't tell it to that mayor who enforced. If you remember, what's her name? London Breed? That's her real name. But she was the idiot who made all of those really restrictive decisions in early fall for San Francisco. Okay, mask mandates need to be literally everywhere, but then when she was caught like that weekend right after that without a mask in a public gathering in order to go an indoor gathering, a small club where to attend a concert, and she was caught on camera without a mask. And I'm just not going to be the fun police, but I guess you're going to try to be the drug police, and you're failing tremendously. It's almost like all of these radical ideas of how to redo policing is not successful at all, okay? It's almost like this idea has been fucking figured out, and the best way to go about it is, instead of defunding, reallocating resources, maybe it's supporting and training your officers better. Maybe that would be a solution. Would you like to try that? No? Okay. You just want to continue to waste money for woke points. Good for you. Photos show that San Francisco's woke effort to connect homeless drug addicts to rehabs is not working, as users shoot up in broad daylight and scatter their needles all over the streets. I would not want to go to San Francisco in any form or fashion for a very, very long time, and it sucks because I have extended family in the area and very nice areas, but I don't know if you can call San Francisco nice at this point in time at all whatsoever. It's fucking sad, really, because it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. A new linkage center aimed at connecting homeless street addicts with drug rehab facilities opened in San Francisco last week, but distressing images show an open-air illicit drug consumption site that is now littered with needles and crowded with addicts shooting up in broad daylight. And we're going to be going and taking a look at a bunch of distressing pictures that are out there showing, like, just people, yeah, they don't just allege it, they provide the drone footage, they provide the man on the street pictures of just people just helping each other out, you know what, trying to pop a vein and just shooting right up there on the streets. And no, these aren't people getting the fucking jab, these aren't people getting vaccinated, they're just doing hard line heroin, okay? They're just fucking bypassing the pills and they're just getting it right back in there, huh? Right there. Right outside of these rehab facilities, okay, they cleaned out, the government there, the San Francisco government cleaned out a nice area for people to just go to rehab, but they made the parking lot too big. Okay, maybe they made the fence just a little bit too comfy to lean up against where you can just shoot up in broad daylight. And don't worry, once you guys leave, we'll just go ahead and sweep up your needles and you can just go get them from another facility, because we don't want you to transmit AIDS anymore. We just want to keep you healthy so you can stay around and smoke crack in broad daylight for as long as you possibly can. Images were taken by the Daily Mail show a woman slumped over in a wheelchair, her pants down around her ankles, preparing to inject a needle into her thigh. A woman sitting on the ground next to her has a needle to her neck. Fun. This is the despicable side of years and years and decades of Democrat policies in action. This is what they want for the rest of the country, okay? They want people just barely hanging on, okay? But just show up to the polls and just keep the elites on an elevated platform, because who's in charge of San Francisco? Well, that's Nancy Pelosi, after all. That's her district. Gavin Newsom, the governor who got elected and who he ended up staving off a recall effort by 75%. 75% of people wanted him there because he started out, he was the mayor of San Francisco. That's how he ascended to the governor's mansion in Pasadena. He started this downward trajectory for San Francisco. Can't blame him directly, but he oversees this stuff. And what's he doing about it? Turning a blind eye to it because it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to start campaigning for a couple of months. And still, it's San Francisco, and they're going to continue to vote Democrat and then just wonder why everybody else keeps fucking leaving their state and why they're going to become bankrupt if they continue down this treacherous path. Many others are sitting on the ground among trash, empty food containers, dirty blankets as they fumble with drug paraphernalia in cold weather. Well, cold relative to California. The center, which opened on January 18th as part of San Francisco Mayor London Breed's Tenderloin Emergency Intervention Plan introduced last year. The Linkage Center is located at 1172 Market Street in the United Nations Plaza. A perfect place for it. It really is. The supervised drug consumption area is an outdoor fenced section of the Linkage Center. Yeah, feel free. You know what? If you want to just inject hardcore drugs, if you just want to go and be a degenerate, if you just want to be a leech on society, you just want to get stoned out of your gourd every fucking waking moment of the day, and depending on your drug, there's a lot of fucking waking moments throughout the day, go down there. You'll be taken care of. A month earlier, Breed declared a state of emergency in Tenderloin and announced a sweeping crackdown on open-air drug use. So then you opened up an outdoor section for drug consumption. All right, and drug dealing in the downtown neighborhood, one of the city's poorest and most drug-infested areas. Well, you could just turn that around in an instant if you actually wanted to employ successful policies. The Tenderloin has long been an epicenter of homelessness and drug use, but city officials said the problem has worsened as the national opioid crisis escalated over the course of the pandemic. Yeah, not letting people, just try to pursue life, liberty, and the American dream anymore. Just telling them to stay at home and wait it out. And here's just a little bit of government assistance. Just don't do anything. Don't pursue anything. Don't try to improve your life at all. Just wait for this all to be over. And just fester and let your worst aspects manifest. And there's no hope for you. Don't go outside. Announcing a crime crackdown, she argued that San Francisco officers should get aggressive and less tolerant of all the bullshit that has destroyed our city. So then you allow this shit to fester. And now we're going to start looking at some distressing pictures. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, there's the previously described woman with her fucking slacks around her ass, or I'm sorry, around her ankles. What's the difference? Ankles are probably cleaner. She slumped over in a wheelchair. Okay, just looking for a vein in her leg because I guess it just gets a little bit too dangerous to roll up her sleeves, I guess. Too much scar tissue that she can do there. We're not watching any videos because I don't need to get any sadder than this. And then you have a bunch of people who are, I don't know, sick and distressed as well, sitting on cardboard, cement slabs, okay? Even the tree's dead in this picture. I don't know who could possibly do this. Yeah, the little description for this overhead aerial picture. The center, which opened January 18th, is aimed at helping connect people to services, but distressing images depict an illicit drug consumption site that is now littered with needles and crowded with addicts shooting up in broad daylight. I don't know if we can see anybody specifically shooting up in this picture. Maybe, I don't really know, but I wouldn't necessarily want to be there. And where are all these people's masks? They're just out there spreading COVID, but that's about the least of these people's worries, if we're being completely honest. Oh, there's another person, I don't know, just picking gnats out of their sweater, I guess. And this guy just looks like he's dropping a deuce against the fence. Good for him. And that dude's just, maybe he's moving. Okay, maybe he's just moving from one tent to another. Impossible to really know. And that dude right there with his pants around his ankles is once again employing the fence post to his most advantageous use. And I'll let you fill in the gaps there, because he's trying to fill in that a little post hole right there. I guess a random Twitch streamer in the wild, as you can see there. That dude right there, a lot of open sores on his hands. So I wonder, that person driving a BMW, once again, isn't it rich? Okay, all of these people that are purporting to help you are driving BMWs out there, but all of that government money going to good use once again, right? And that dude right there with a 1,000-yard stare and Hunter Biden's favorite cylindrical accessory to go along with the beautiful boat rope that he has tied into his hair. Don't quite get it up close and personal, in case you couldn't quite figure out what was going on there. At a press conference at the time, Breed said that the city was in crisis and that the streets were nasty as more crime and drug overdoses littered the streets, and all of those pictures were taken after those comments were made. We are in a crisis and we need to respond accordingly, she said on Friday. Too many people are dying in this city. Too many people were sprawled out on our streets, and we need to meet people where they are. Are you doing any of that, though? Or are you just making those claims? Breed said that the rapid drug intervention is needed because about 2 people a day are dying of overdoses, mostly from fentanyl in the Tenderloin in the city's south of Market neighborhood. Okay, cool. But again, you're mentioning how people are just dropping dead for overdoses, okay, and it's been consistent throughout the entire pandemic that's been out there, which has exacerbated this entire problem. More people have been dying of overdoses than has from the coup within your city. Those are verifiable facts. The work that we have in place after our assessment allows us the ability through the emergency declaration to move quickly, to move fast, and to change the conditions, specifically in the Tenderloin community. Has that been happening? Nope. Here's more pictures. Oh, look it. You can't do intravenous drugs without help from a friend. It's so nice. It's really helping out there. And another guy, I don't know, exhaling, you could only just assume crack, really. Crack or meth. See some tinfoil. It could be meth. That would make sense. Upon closer inspection, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Okay. Oh, and as you can see, somebody's just assessing their arm, and possible to figure out. Oh, but look at, she found a friend. How adorable. And somebody else just, I don't know, just tired, okay, from all the hard work that they did, trying to find a spot to lay down, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. And again, just more fucking degeneracy. Oh, and it even goes out a little bit further than that. As you can see, pissy mattresses on the street there. I guess a little bit too good for the chain link fenced area. Emergency declaration paved the way for the city to cut through the red tape that delays the public response to deteriorating conditions in the Tenderloin. You know what would help even quicker? A nuke. There will also be more coordinated enforcement of illegal activities, street cleanups, and other infrastructure improvements to make the neighborhood safer, they say. Sure. Okay, shortly after, she announced the opening of a Linkage center, which is aimed at connecting homeless street addicts with drug rehab facilities. Well, if you're just paying people and reinforcing this fucking behavior, guess what? Most of these people are just those mythical peoples that slip through the cracks of society. These are people who like their drug of choice. Their only purpose in life is to procure more of their drug of choice in life. And they just want to continue that cycle until they die. That's all they want. Okay, and then if you offer them an opportunity to get out of there, but if it's a little bit harder than just taking government subsistence, okay, spending it, okay, or sucking dick for a little bit extra, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Do the thing that's hard, the thing that failed them before and that landed them right there on the streets? Or just they're used to their conditions and they just want to continue to do that in perpetuity? I'll let you decide. Center is equipped to serve up to 100 people at a time. I think we've seen pictures of more than 100 people at the time, but we got more pictures anyways. So as you can see on the streets there. Oh, to be fair, that's that same lady who was shooting up on the streets beforehand, but there's more people that are out there, and he apparently has a dog, and that's the only person I feel bad for so far. There's another guy who's seen some shit, but at least he's wearing a mask, and there's no trespassing that's supposed to be there, so at least they're on the right side of the fence. More people with their, I don't really know what the fuck that is. You got inline skates. She has knee pads, so I guess she at least has a job. And this dude here has an entire corner to himself, and a tent, and all that kind of fun, and a Razor scooter. Good for him. Good for him. And yeah, this is another sad part about this, okay? I've seen stories as well that people are just leaving a note, and a nothing to steal sign like that, okay? Something like that in order to discourage break-ins in people who are just parking their vehicles in order to go to an appointment that happens to be in that degenerate city. They're just leaving their notes, okay? They're leaving their windows rolled down, their hatchbacks of their vehicles popped up, the trunks open, just with the sign that says nothing to steal, so they don't have to go through the insurance for broken windows, so for fucking picked locks, okay, for busted anything. That's the current state of one of the most beautiful cities in the entire country. That's a sad state of affairs. That's what's fucking going on there. But what's the answer to this? Instead of just sweeping these people up Rudy Giuliani style and, I don't know, just throwing them into the ocean because they're of no benefit to society. Let's be fucking real here. No, you're just opening up a 100 bed facility in order to, I don't know, just give them the opportunity, because that's really what they're lacking. You're a despicable human being. There's one last aerial view, and I'll give you a little bit of background on this before we take off. San Francisco is grappling with deep societal pains common to any large U.S. city, but it's actually worse, which is weird. A high percentage of the estimated 8,000 homeless people in San Francisco. I would think that is one of the most conservative and the only conservative aspects of San Francisco is that estimation that there's 8,000 homeless people, many of whom pitch tents in the Tenderloin are struggling with chronic addiction or severe mental illness, often both. Some people rant in the streets, nude and in need of medical help. Last year, 712 people died of drug overdoses compared to the 257 people who died from COVID-19. Think I was lying? No. Nearly 3 times as many people fucking died of drug overdoses compared to the COOF. But what's being further regulated? What's being tighter restricted? Access to drugs? Clamping down on drugs? Nah, wear your mask. Well, guess what? All of them are wearing their masks. Linkage Center operates 7 days a week. Cool. Between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And that what are people supposed to do after that? Go home? Oh, wait. The limited staff due to the impact of COVID-19. That's hilarious. You're just turfing people because they don't get the jab out there. Seems to be the case. However, the center will expand to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, once they drop their fucking restrictions. In addition to connecting people with services, I don't really care. Again, I think I just let Officers Chauvin and Potter go in there and clean everything up. I'll link you to the article, but it's just a sad state of affairs. And it's just, once again, just... We talk about New York City, we talk about Los Angeles, and now we'll talk about San Francisco. Touch on Chicago, but there hasn't been anything except for just people fucking dropping dead over the weekend. But there's no real developments out there. But this is San Francisco, man, a place that eventually, at some point in time, once they get their heads out of their collective drug-addicted asses, I'd like to go visit one day, but not anytime soon. And it really doesn't look like anytime soon, because this shit is ingrained, and maybe it's what they all want. Maybe they're getting exactly what they want. Based on the numbers of people leaving the city, well, nobody's really seeing or sticking around to figure out if this is the right way to go about it. Spoilers, it's not. But with that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.